What is going on, everybody? I go by Mike, and this is the Philly Tall Podcast. Today, we have a live stream, and we got a special guest on the Philly Tall Podcast for the second time. Eagles insider Dave Spadaro. How are you doing today?
Hey, Mike, how are you doing?
Hanging in there for
I'm good.
Saturday.
I'm resting up. It was a long, fun week after last week. The draft weekend is always like a fun time, but it's a really busy time. So this weekend is just nice to be off. And then we get the rookie camp next week. So, it's nice to have a weekend to just chill and just kind of figure out what the team's all about.
Yeah, man, and I've been watching all your one-on-ones from Devontae Smith all the way down to Kerryon Johnson and Jacoby Stevenson. So we definitely going to get into some draft talk, get your take on just meeting the guys, the energy in the room. But let's start with the news that hit yesterday. Kerryon Johnson was waived by the Lions, and we claimed him. A young running back who had a lot of promise coming out of the draft. He was selected 43 overall. What is your take on his fit in Philadelphia, possibly?
Yeah, I mean, I like the move a lot. I think this is how you build your roster. The Eagles are going to have a chance to pick high on the waiver wire. And so you're going to get a player or two here and there between now and the middle of the season. Kerryon had a really good rookie season and then has had knee problems, but he's a bigger back. He's talented. He catches the ball well. He blocks very well. He runs hard. He's a physical guy. The Eagles want to get a little bit more punch in the backfield. Jordan Howard and Elijah Holyfield are kind of the bigger backs in that room. So it's a no-risk move, and hopefully Kerryon is healthy and he's in great shape. And if he is, he's got a chance to make the team. I mean, he's on the last year of his rookie contract, so he's got a lot of incentive to be a great player. And I'm excited to see him when the pads go on in August in training camp. So I like the move a lot. I liked him coming out of the draft, and it's a smart move to build your roster.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Not necessarily exactly, but it kind of reminds me of like an Ajay Ajayi, just the way we got that extra running back. He had knee problems as well. And he ended up contributing heavily in our Super Bowl run, I kind of wanted to get to Miles Sanders being a guy, but hey, we had a lot of success with the committee, and I don't think we'll go back to a committee per se. But like you said, having Jordan Howard, Kerryon Johnson, Kenneth Gainwell, who we got in the 5th round, who offers a lot of upside in the slot and coming out the backfield as well, catching the ball. I think you got a good mix of guys. Because I do believe Miles Sanders has tremendous upside, but he has been getting nicked up as lately. So if you can take a little bit off him and still give him a nice workload, I think it's going to pay dividends.
Yeah.
And I'm expecting.
Remember, we got 17 games, so you really can't have enough depth, right? Like you need a lot of running backs, and I think that this is a good move for the Eagles. And but I'm not getting too excited about it. I mean, Kerryon's numbers really went down the last 2 years. So we had a lot of problems with the knee. I guess Detroit, the offensive line hasn't been great. They've just not been able to run the football. So it's again, no risk at all, and hopefully it works out.
Yeah, and that's pretty much where I'm at too. Just again, Jordan Howard is the guy we think could be utilized, but there was a reason why he didn't play for Miami and had to come back with Philadelphia. So again, you got your backup plan and your backup plan, whether it's Jordan Howard being that extra piece to Miles Sanders and or Kerryon Johnson. Load up the running back room and let Nick Sirianni preach competition, competition across the wide receiver board, competition across the running back room. I like it, iron sharpens iron. Let's get to the draft though. Devontae Smith, man. Did you think, how were you feeling when you saw Denver and Carolina go back to back with the 2 top cornerbacks? What was and then knowing that Cowboys and the Giants were ahead of us, and most of the impact players looked like they were about to be off the board when the Eagles got there. How were you feeling at that time?
Yeah, I mean the board was weird. It was so defensive for a stretch there. I'm sorry, so offensive for a stretch there until the cornerbacks went off the board. I felt like there were 4 players. I felt like it was the 2 cornerbacks. And then it was going to be Waddle or Devontae. And the fact that Devontae kept stayed on the board. Uh, I was wondering a couple things. Okay, are the Eagles going to stay at 12? Are they going to move out of 12 and go? Because I'm sure that Chicago was calling them to get Justin Fields. So that was in my mind. I was thinking, if Devontae goes, who do you take at 12? What's a good fit here? My thought was that the Eagles, if Devontae had gone prior to the Eagles making this move, that the Eagles would have traded out of 12 and moved back. So I was glad that he stayed around. Prolific talent, and somebody the Eagles only had to give up a third-round draft pick for. So, they were able to acquire that extra number 1 next year from Miami when they moved up from, they moved out of 6 to 12. So that was great. And then to give up the 3, it's a good net, and you get a player who, had the Eagles stayed at 6 and drafted Devontae Smith at 6, everybody would be like, great, that's a good move, makes sense. So the fact that they were able to move back, get an extra first-round pick, really makes it special.
Yeah, that's what I was saying too. That's why I gave that pick like an A++ for the simple fact 2 months ago, being able to move back, being able to plan it out, and a little luck was involved there as well. But it fit perfectly. You get the first round pick, you only give up the 84th overall pick, and it worked great. But like you said, when I saw Waddle go to Miami, then I saw Carolina and Denver take the corners. I'm thinking, wow. Dallas might take Micah Parsons now. Giants were eyeing Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle too. I said it's going to come to us, and we're going to be in that spot where do we trade back? Because now I don't know. And I love how we did, man. When I saw the Cowboys on the board, I was kind of panicking. I was doing a live stream. I looked back and I saw Eagles traded, and I was just like, it's for Devontae Smith. I knew it right then and there, and it was perfect.
I'm glad you had that done. I wasn't sure I wasn't sure what they were going to do. Like I really just didn't get a feel for how that was going to be, how it was going to work out. I wondered, would they trade up for the quarterback?
Yeah,
I thought everything was on. I thought everything was on the table.
Yeah, when I was going live and we traded up, a lot of people in the chat were like, "Up, they're going to take Justin Fields," and I don't know what it was, but I was saying for the 2 minutes of anticipation, it's got to be Devontae Smith. I know it now. It would have been a rude awakening to me. I'd have been like, it would have been a funny reaction, I should say. But we got it done, and I also like the rest of the draft picks. But so I do want to ask you though, since Devontae Smith was the big name, besides Devontae Smith, I know we all still doing our research on these guys. We got to see how it pans out. Who was the most surprising or like you think is going to be impactful pick besides Devontae Smith?
See, that's the hard part. Okay, like that's where I take a pause. I want to see them in Philadelphia first before making projections, because the thing about Devontae was he was so good at Alabama, the highest level, won the Heisman. I mean, he comes in as a polished player. Everybody else from this draft has a lot of work to do to make an impact, and so I think it's really hard to say. I mean, Landon Dickerson obviously is coming off the injury. Williams and McPherson and Gainwell and all these guys, I don't think we really know. So I'm going to hesitate on that one. I don't have a really good feel for the rest of the draft class and how they might fit in. And Mike, here's one of the reasons why. Because like I think everybody, look, the draft's a crapshoot. We know that, and usually you get to see them in the OTAs, and you get to see. So we don't get to see that anymore.
Yeah.
And we really don't get to see them until they get on the field for training camp in pads. So to me, the next step is how quickly do you learn the offense, the defense, special teams, all the schemes? How do you handle the idea of being a professional player? So I remember, and I had a conversation long ago with Troy Vincent. He was like, you can't count on rookies. Now, the league's changed a lot since then. 17 games, the roster's bigger, etc. But I'm going to go in and just say I don't have a feel for these guys yet because they're all a work in progress. So I mean, McPherson has a chance to play. Eagles don't have a lot at cornerback right now. I do expect them to get cornerbacks similar to what they did with Kerryon Johnson, perhaps. I mean, all of the defensive linemen have a chance to play, but I don't really know what the defense is going to be exactly. I don't really know what they're going to ask the defensive lineman to do. Gainwell, he didn't play last year, so how quickly will he be able to get into his flow? Mm-hmm. And so that's why I'm going to go with this. I think Devontae Smith will play if he's as good as what he was at Alabama in no setback. He'll be as good. He'll be an impact player. But the rest of the draft class, I really can't tell you.
Yeah, I agree, and he's definitely going to be an impact player. And we, other than the cornerback and wide receiver, we got positions where we still got some talented players there, like the D line. You still got Hargrave and Fletcher Cox, but it's always cool to keep a healthy defensive line, so the rotation that could come in handy. We saw Josh Sweat elevate his game in that rotational edge rusher role, so it's going to be interesting to see. But you speaking of McPherson, he definitely might have a shot to play, especially if we don't dip into some free agent or waived cornerbacks, because
they have to, Mike. I mean, they know it. I mean, there's still some names out there, I think, and there'll be players. Part of it is that in the post-draft period, you then look at everybody else's roster, and you kind of project who's going to get cut, who might be available for trade. So they know that there's going to be pieces out there. They just look. This team has a punter who nobody knows his name. Who also might have to be the holder. Aaron Sipas. Nobody knows him. But the team's not going to be on the field until the mandatory minicamp in June. So there's still plenty of time to add to the roster, and I'm sure they will. But it's fun. I mean, I do think they really believe in this draft class. And as much upside as Devontae has, Landon Dickerson has a tremendous amount of upside. I just don't know if you're going to see that in 2021.
Yeah, and I think that they had a mindset, because this is a whole rebuild. Again, everything was torn down from the quarterback, coaches, everything. So I think they looked for the future too, and they stayed true to their board again, because as you just said, the Eagles know CB2 is like a red flashing light, and for them to wait to the 4th round, they thought that they were getting better value with the D tackle, and we know we build from the trenches on both sides. So you're starting to rebuild. Keep your philosophy. You're going to build the trenches, because even guys like Fletcher Cox and all that, by the time the Eagles are legitly ready to compete, are probably going to be either on the tail end or who knows at this point. You know what I mean? So I think it was a good philosophy. It's a good start for a rebuild. Jonathan Gannon was super excited with the Milton Williams pick, at least the War Room video that's going around. So
I mean, all of them showed something in college. It's a lot. So a lot of it depends, honestly, on how good are the coaches that they have here, because you've got to make all of these players better, and then what kind of schemes are they running, and we don't really know the answers to that yet.
That's true. That's true. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure you smash that like button, and also if you're not following Dave Spadaro's weekly Eagles podcast, go ahead and tell them what it is again. And it's great.
It's called the Eagles Insider podcast, and we've really gotten great guests, and we go in depth with the team. And then we also have a daily one called the Eagles Update, which is just hey Alexa, tell me what's going on with the Eagles, and then we just give you like a 2 or 3 minute little update. During the season, that's daily. Now it's 2 or 3 times a week. So Eagles Insider podcast, Eagles Update podcast.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Always good information.
It's been such an interesting off season. I mean, as you said, you changed the quarterback, you changed the coaching staff. Got a chance to meet Nick for the first time. Really impressed with him. Met all the coaches after only meeting them virtually for the first couple of months they were here. So it's a really good atmosphere at NovaCare. But until the players get here, we really don't know what to expect from the football team. That's the frustrating part.
Exactly. Yeah, I had the the chance to interview Davion Taylor and Sean Bradley, a couple young linebackers. And their take too was like, the coaching staff, the energy, it's all real and it's good. It makes you want to play that much more harder for them. Instead of just saying, hi, how you guys doing? They really wanted to get to know the players in depth. And you can just feel that, that exchange is real. And as Sean Bradley said, it allows you to take coaching harder. These guys got your back. These guys really care. So it allows you to take coaching harder, and it just pushes you that much more.
Yeah.
So let's talk about CB2 just a little bit. I know there's some rumors about now. I mean, this is Eagles rumors, I guess. Not really Eagles rumors, but Eagle fans are really talking about the Patriots trying to move on possibly from Stephon Gilmore. He's an older guy. He's 31 years old. Like, to me, I think the Eagles are going to eventually make a move in the free agency. Someone that's going to get waived, like you said, trying to project it. And there's a couple guys out there as we speak now. Like, one of the names that keep popping in my head is like a Steven Nelson, ex-Pittsburgh Steelers cornerback. Now, again, you got to make the money work and all that. And that's
going to be one of the big problems. There's just not a lot of cap room here. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with Zach Ertz, but he's on the roster right now.
Mm-hmm.
He could stay on the roster. I'm not sure the Eagles are just going to give up on Zach Ertz and have a big hole. But yeah, there's a lot of veteran possibilities. But like you say, you got to make the money work, and that's going to be the hard part.
Yeah. Let me ask you this though. Dallas Goedert is on the last year of his rookie contract. I believe this year will be the last year of his rookie contract. Now, I love Zach Ertz's game, and if you're not going to be able to get nothing from him, he'd be a great safety blanket for Jalen Hurts, trying to extend that rookie season that he had. Where are you at with Dallas Goedert and the fact that if Zach Ertz plays and gets the predominant number one tight end option, Dallas Goedert's contract's up. How is that going to work where you feel like you're safe enough to give him the 3-5 year deal or whatever deal we come up with, not really knowing if he can carry number one tight end duties?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, I think Dallas can carry number one tight end duties. He's a very talented guy. He does it all. And I don't know what the offense, how much they are going to use the tight end. I would imagine a lot. I don't know what they think of Dallas and Zach. I think that, if both are on the roster, they go into training camp and they go in equally. And I think that's the kind of the whole deal. Like, you have to go in and earn your playing time. So, it's kind of a good problem to have. There's a good amount of talent with the two of them. They make a nice 1-2 punch. And I think that it's one of the big mysteries as we talk about the Eagles on May 8th. What are they going to do at the tight end position? What is the future of Zach Ertz? Everybody I talked to asked me questions about Zach and said, they're going to trade him. We won't be here after the draft. Well, that the NFL works in mysterious ways, and he's here. And it's last year of Zach's contract. And is he going to get a better deal out there? I don't know. He's making good money here. If he stays in Philly and he goes and signs somewhere else next year, the Eagles get a compensatory pick for him. So there's value there. So you don't just say, hey, we're going to cut Zach Ertz. But I'm sure, look, how you could also trade him post June 1st and save on the salary cap. So there's a lot of different nuances there. But at the moment, I'm talking as if Zach will be here, and we'll see, because he and Dallas Goedert would make a very nice 1-2 punch at that position.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Decisions. And yeah, there's going to be some money the Eagles can get too, still from I believe the Malik Jackson stuff and Alshon Jeffrey stuff come June 1st too. So I think, I know everybody's stressing about cornerback too, but again, as you just said, it's May 8th. We're not playing no games until September. So, you got
we'll find out that this week. The schedule comes out on the 12th of May. So make sure you go to PhiladelphiaEagles.com and follow us on our social and our app as well. And we'll have it for you first.
Yes, get it out there so we can start, dissecting the games and stuff like that. We are coming in with a 4th place schedule. So I think look, as we sit here May 8th, too, we don't got the cornerback 2 position filled. There's still some holes. There's still some question marks. And again, when people hear question marks, they automatically think bad. I've been preaching these could be good question marks. Nick Sirianni and his coaching staff, Jalen Hurts, the young offense, they're question marks, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're bad. They could be good question marks. So with a 4th place schedule, the NFC East being one of the worst divisions last year, I do think the 3 teams got better. Like, I could see a scenario where the Eagles are legitly competitive. Now, I'm not going to say, it is hard for when you have a new everything except for GM to just click right away. But it's kind of setting it up with the 4th place schedule, the NFC East. I could see the Eagles possibly being competitive, especially if Jalen Hurts really takes that next step. I think that's the biggest thing.
I agree. I think the offensive line could be good. If Devontae comes in, if Jalen Reagor takes the next step, if some of the young wide receivers pick up their game from last year, if Miles stays healthy, Dallas Goedert and Zach, there's some weapons on that offense. The defense got more holes. Who's playing safety? Who's your CB2? Who are your linebackers? Where's the pass rush coming from? To me, the defense has a bit more questions. But yeah, I mean, this division, it's not like exactly. This division isn't exactly like the best division in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of chances for and by the way, there hasn't been a repeat NFC East winner since 2003, 2004. So the NFC East is the wackiest division in all of football.
Yep, but and that's what I love about it. I love about it, the uncertainty, the rivals. It's definitely hands down to me. Of course, I'm biased, but it's the best division in football. We just need to get our rep a little bit back up because we used to be a smash mouth tough division. We're all going through our struggles, but hey, the first team that got to climb out is the Philadelphia Eagles. Last but not least, I just want to talk about Jalen Hurts. I did hear Howie Roseman say in an interview, he wants him to take the job and run from it. I know we did sign an undrafted free agent, Jamie Newman. We do got Joe Flacco on the roster as well. A lot of people were kind of like, quarterback competition, really? My mindset was, competition is what Nick Sirianni preaches, but the only way Jalen Hurts is not the starting quarterback is if he loses it himself, because you go the youth route. To me, I think Jalen Hurts doesn't have the biggest competition there, but it's always good to know that you got your job the right way. How do you feel about that and Jalen Hurts, like just his demeanor and his game that we saw, like the good stuff from last year and the stuff that he has to work on? How do you feel about him leading the troops in 2021?
So I think Jalen has a lot to work on, and I think the responsibilities, the demands will be a little bit different. I think the offense will be a little bit more get out of his hands quickly, 3-step drop, really true West Coast offense with some design in for his mobility. To me, he's the kind of guy who's really wants to be great and who will really work to fine tune his craft. He's got to be more accurate. He's got to cut down on the turnovers. He's got to know where to go with the football. And so that's kind of a natural thing that a second-year quarterback has to learn. Extremely talented player, and I think he'll really work hard, Mike, to be great. So, as you say, it's his time, it's his chance, and the Eagles would love it if he just came right out of the gate in training camp and looked great and looked awesome. It was smooth and had great timing with everybody, great chemistry. I think the players like him a lot, and but there's a lot to work on. As much as he has to work on, the rest of every opponent has spent the entire offseason looking at Jalen Hurts. So they're going to try to make him win from the pocket, and that's ultimately what he's going to have to prove. The runaround quarterback, it's nice, big highlights, it's great, but quarterbacks win from the pocket, and he's going to have to prove that he can win from the pocket.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely is a good tool to have in an emergency situation. But again, you're going to spend majority of your time in the pocket, and hopefully the offensive line, like I said, our offensive line is top 10-ish if we're healthy. Last year, 13, 14 different starting line combinations. You really can't plan with that. But I'm very interested to see what Nick Sirianni does. Like I said, one of my biggest frustrations last year was the lack of running the ball. I understand after Miles Sanders got nicked up a little bit, he didn't have the most reliable guys, and Corey Clement coming back off the injury, and Boston Scott being the little guy he is. But when the Eagles were great and we had great quarterback play from number 11, we're going, keep it, just say number 11.
The good old days.
We were third in the NFL in rushing. Like, we didn't have a 1,000-yard rusher because it was the committee who Corey Clement was in that, LeGarrette Blount and Ajay Ajayi, but we were third in the NFL in rushing. It allows play action to open up and everything. And so I think, running the ball, being more of a balanced offense, and I'm just dying to see what Nick Sirianni got. You know what I mean? You hear the oozing of football, X and O's out of him. And, I can't wait to see it on the field.
I agree. I think I think the Eagles are going to be a lot better than people think they're going to be. That's just what I think. And we'll see. I mean, look, we got a long way to go, Mike, before they get on the field. I will tell you that Nick is a very intense guy, and he's going to really be demanding of these players. So I like that, and I can't wait to see them on the field. And this weekend, at least we get to see a little bit next weekend, actually, with the rookie mini camp. So that'll be fun to see.
Yeah. I just want to see if you have a preference. With the wide receiver group being so crowded, do you think this? And he's been a topic of talk about. JJ Arcega-Whiteside. Do you think he's going to? Again, I think I've been preaching that every receiver pretty much has a clean slate. It's brand new coaching staff. You're going to go out there and prove what you got. A guy like JJ who has a second round pick and he just can't get on the field and stay productive for whatever reason. Well, how do you think the receiver group's going to shape up? Like maybe your starters possibly, and or how many you think we're going to hold on this roster? I want to get the wide receiver. Everybody's kind of wondering about that.
I think probably I would say 5. Maybe 6. Maybe 6. That's kind of what they usually carry. JJ gets a clean slate. That's all you can ask for at this point with him. And he's got to make the most of it. He can't have any bad days in training camp. He's got to have great days every day. He does.
Yeah.
Because there's too much invested. 3 draft picks last year, 1st round pick this year. Travis Fulgham looked good for a month last year. So JJ has to come in and really show that he can be that big body and can be that dominating player when it's a jump ball. And that's what he was drafted to do.
Yeah, I agree. And a lot of people are talking about put JJ as tight end. And my whole thing is like, the tight end position, blocking receivers and blocking a linebacker, blocking a defensive end, being asked to pull across the formation, putting your hand in the dirt. It's hard to just say, he's a bigger guy, just put him at tight end. And so,
no, it's not going to happen. He's not big enough. He's not 240 pounds. He's 220, and he's not an inline blocker.
Yeah.
If JJ is going to make it, he's going to make it as a wide receiver.
Yep. And like I said, I have nothing against nobody. You put the midnight green on, and I'm a root for you. But you got to give me something to root about. With that being said, I'm glad that you are one of the more optimistic thinkers when it comes to this young season.
I'm going expecting to lose, man.
Oh yeah. Like I said, no matter every year I've been an Eagle fan, even if I have real expectations being a little low, come Sunday when I'm sitting in front of the TV at 1:00, I think and I want to beat everybody. I think we could beat everybody. I get the rude awakening at halftime when we're not winning, but Sunday at 1:00, I'm always ready to get the dub.
You got it, baby.
Let me ask you this though. Last but not least, when you saw Nick Sirianni, did y'all play any rock, paper, scissors, shoot?
No, but we'll tell you, Nick Sirianni is a lot different than people think he is, or at least the perception of him. He's a stud. He's ripped. He's a former player. He connected with the fans right away. He has a great personality. He owns a room, and I think he's awesome. And I can't wait to see what he's like on the sidelines and what he's like in front of the team, and how demanding he's going to be. I think I think it's going to be really fun. He's a really, really fiery guy. He sure as heck isn't any pushover. So uh, I think the Eagles are going to. I think they picked a really good young coach who surrounded himself with a lot of good young coaches on his staff, and there should be a lot of fun energy with this team this year.
Yeah, and like I said, I know the young guys definitely like it. I think he's going to garner respect quickly. Hopefully, the X and O's pan out, and I love it. I mean, I've been 100% excited by all his press conferences. He's going to learn just
He's got a lot to
as
learn.
anybody else. Yeah,
He knows it. Yep, he's got a
yep.
lot to learn. He knows it.
With that being said, thank you for coming on. And like I said, looking forward to seeing the Eagles play some football. Shout
Well,
out to
let's talk about it before they get on the field. Got a long way to go before the season starts, Mike. I'm happy to come on anytime.
Sounds good. Sound good. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Appreciate you guys, channel members, all you guys. Make sure you smash that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. We just crossed 10K. Shout out to you guys. And definitely go listen to Eagles Insider Podcast. That's where you get all the good stuff.
Thank you, Mike.
Until
Appreciate
next
it.
time, y'all know what time
Thanks,
it is.
brother. Take care.
Peace.
Peace.